there's a fair amount of oil from the Gulf that is getting out via pipelines and through the Red Sea, for example. Saudi Arabia with millions, about 5 million barrels a day that's getting out through their pipeline. The UAE gets a couple million barrels out through their pipeline. There have been a couple of tankers, Indian tankers, for example, that have gotten through on the back of a deal with Iran. So the strait is not closed, but most of the shipping, and that means oil, gas, fertilizer, petrochemicals, all of that, most of the shipping that leaves the Gulf is shut down. The broader point is that this increasingly feels a lot to me like the first weeks of the pandemic. Not as big, obviously, in terms of the global economic impact, but with massive second and third order implications that were not clear from the initial concerns, the initial news headlines. Because this is not just about oil. It's also about everything that passes through the Gulf, and the knock-on economic implications are really, really major. I mean, for example, you've got, all synthetic fabrics in Asia. So much of that is oil-based coming out of the Gulf. Auto parts, for example, packaging for consumer goods. And it's going to take a while before that plays through into prices, but it is going to happen. So this is a global supply chain shock that over the next months, everyone around the world is going to feel. Much worse on the poorest countries, sub-Saharan Africa, Southeast Asia, for example, than it is in the United States and Europe, but it's a hit to absolutely everyone. And that consequence is going to get much worse and much more extended every day that this war goes on. Fertilizer, so much of fertilizer passes through and emanates from the Gulf. And we're in planting season, and there, you get past May, June with disruptions of when the ports are actually taking that product that hasn't come out of the Gulf, and that means you're going to have less food being produced, and that means that food prices are going to be higher. And so the impact of this on the global economy, I think, is much greater than what is generally being presumed and written in the headlines. And this is going to play out in the United States on Trump's agenda for the midterm elections.